Now, a staggering 2/3 of Brits are calling for Harry and Meghan to be stripped of their HRH titles.
Seriously, where is she? This meeting should have started by now. And why am I waiting on her? She should be waiting on me. Holy moly, Ollie.
Harry and Meghan, the dreariest couple in the history of planet Earth.
Let's chat about Meghan Markle. She couldn't be more cringe if she tried.
Oh, hi, Drew. It is so great to meet you. Same. I am so excited to meet the Meghan Markle. That's Meghan Sussex.
You're just bookended and flanked by the two of us.
Just surrounded by love.
Okay, I'm so excited.
Thank you for having me.
Thank
Meghan Sussex? No, it's Sussex. Sussex. I like it. Is that like your stage name? No, it's my real name.
you for coming here. I've been watching your show With Love, which is really, really wonderful.
I'm Sussex now. Well, thank you for that correction. The pleasure is all mine. Can I give you a hug? I don't know if you've noticed, but I'm a hugger. I'm a hugger too. Great, but only when paparazzi's around. I don't actually give any kind of affection in private.
Harry and Meghan, the dreariest couple in the history of planet Earth.
Now, a staggering 2/3 of Brits are calling for Harry and Meghan to be stripped of their HRH titles.
Let's chat about Meghan Markle. She couldn't be more cringe if she tried.
Prince William plans to flex his muscles and wipe his wayward brother Prince Harry and his power-hungry wife Meghan from the history books.
Prince William is reportedly formulating a plan to finally strip Prince Harry and Meghan Markle of their HRH titles.
Well, Her Royal Highness Meghan Markle, Duchess of Sussex, is about to be stripped of her official title.
It's hardly a secret that the palace has already conducted secret meetings with members of the government to discuss putting the plan into action.
Are you joking? It's bad. This is terrible.
The HRH.
The American actress who became a duchess, who tried to destroy the royal family, which then booted them out of England.
With King Charles on his way out, Prince William is expected to take over the crown. And apparently at the top of his list is to say, peace out, Meghan, you're done. And he plans to formally strip Meghan Markle of her royal title.
It was supposed to be just another charming daytime interview. Meghan Markle, Duchess of Sussex, sitting down with America's sweetheart Drew Barrymore. What could possibly go wrong? But behind the scenes of that glittering TV set, things reportedly spiraled into something far more uncomfortable and completely unexpected. Before Meghan even stepped onto the stage, something was off. According to insiders, the studio air felt unusually tense. Producers and crew, normally relaxed, cheerful, and full of Drew's signature good vibes, were stiff, whispering, and double-checking every last detail. And that's when the rumors started swirling. Meghan had arrived with a long list of non-negotiable demands. Not requests, demands. From perfect lighting angles and seat adjustments.
Oh, okay. Can I give you a hug on the show? Yes, of course. I'm not that big of a monster. Fantastic. But you're limited to one hug max.
To strictly vetted questions and titles, yes, she allegedly insisted on being introduced as Meghan Sussex, not Markle. The energy shifted fast. Crew members described the vibe as frosty. Some even claimed she didn't acknowledge anyone on set. No eye contact, no hello, nothing. And when the cameras finally rolled, what viewers saw was only part of the story. Meghan's responses came off as overly polished, robotic, even cold, completely at odds with Drew's warm, spontaneous hosting style. What should have been a joyful chat quickly turned into what many online are now calling the most awkward interview of the year. But that wasn't the real bombshell, because what really made headlines wasn't anything said on camera. It was what happened right after the filming ended. A rare, heated moment between Drew and Meghan backstage that shocked everyone. The bubbly, always kind Drew reportedly reached her breaking point. And let's just say, she wasn't smiling anymore.
They go together. To me, it is thoughtfulness, behavior.
Yep. How we show up for each other, how we invite people in.
I feel like once I'm with someone, I mean, I like to connect. I might,
I've heard you like to connect.
Octopus, I really do.
And what she said? 4 sharp words that echoed across the internet and sent shockwaves through both fan bases. But we'll get to that in just a second, because first, you need to hear about what really happened before the cameras even rolled. Long before Meghan stepped in front of Drew Barrymore's audience, the tension had already taken root backstage. Crew members weren't just prepping a celebrity appearance, they were managing what one insider reportedly called the most high-maintenance guest we've ever had. And it wasn't just the usual lighting preferences or wardrobe touch-ups. According to multiple sources, Meghan's team came in like a royal advance party, delivering a checklist that felt more like protocol for a palace appearance than a talk show taping. Let's break it down. First, lighting. Not just good lighting, perfect lighting. Every angle had to flatter. Shadows.
Certainly after the pandemic and everything else, we crave that. We crave being able to go, hi, and like, my friend, are you here? And to really be able to hold and touch and embrace someone. And so I think about, with the show, certainly what hospitality has felt like for me is, how do you make people feel comfortable? How do you show up for them in spaces where they might feel like, I don't know, is this really where...
Not a chance. The crew reportedly spent extra hours adjusting rigging and testing camera positions, all to ensure Meghan appeared exactly as her team wanted. Then came the seat. Apparently, even the chair had to be altered to create the most flattering posture on screen. No slouching allowed. But here's where things got even more intense. Meghan's team reviewed and allegedly reshaped large parts of the interview. Questions were pre-approved, reframed, and some topics were taken off the table entirely. Nothing spontaneous, nothing casual. If it wasn't cleared, it wasn't asked. And then came the name. Meghan didn't want to be introduced as Meghan Markle. That's her actual name, but nope. She allegedly insisted on Meghan Sussex. Not actress Meghan, not Duchess Meghan, just Meghan Sussex, said with the formality of a royal address, and backed with a tone that left no room for error. Crew members who slipped up were swiftly corrected. Insiders said the whole thing felt less like prepping a talk show guest and more like coordinating a diplomatic state visit. There was no warmth, no friendliness, no connection, one person claimed.
It was agreed with Queen Elizabeth that they will not use the HRH title. That is a long-standing precedent, and there's good reason for it. Basically, the HRH is only given to working royals and senior members of the royal family.
It was just pressure, perfectionism, and cold control. Now, keep in mind, this is Drew Barrymore's show, a set known for positivity, laughter, and spontaneity. Guests are usually hugging crew, laughing between takes, and cracking jokes. But on this day, the smiles faded fast. The atmosphere was tense, cautious, almost clinical. And this was all before Meghan even sat down in the chair. What happened once the cameras started rolling? That's where things really began to unravel. When the cameras finally rolled, most viewers expected charm, laughter, maybe a little vulnerability. But what they got instead was a chill, and not just metaphorically. Multiple insiders described the studio atmosphere as tense, awkward, and even cold, like the room had lost its spark the second Meghan walked in. According to crew members, Meghan didn't smile. She didn't say hello. She didn't acknowledge the lighting techs adjusting her setup or the makeup artist doing last-minute touches. One technician said, "It was like we weren't there, like she was gliding through invisible people." And for a show like Drew Barrymore, that's not normal. Guests typically walk in with open arms. Literally. They hug the crew, joke with the camera team, laugh between takes. It's part of what makes the show feel real and joyful. But this time, not a single laugh. No eye contact, just stillness. Even Drew, famous for her ability to break through walls and connect with any guest, struggled. Meghan's answers were short, overly polished, and felt more like statements written by a PR team than real conversation. Social media quickly picked up on it. Comments rolled in comparing Meghan's responses to a pre-programmed Alexa reading a TED Talk. Ouch. And the more Drew tried to warm things up, the more obvious the disconnect became. There was no flow, no ease, just tight smiles and distant energy. One fan even wrote, "It felt like Drew was interviewing a mannequin with media training." But perhaps the most uncomfortable moment came when Drew shared a sweet, spontaneous story about meeting Princess Diana when she was a little girl. Instead of leaning in with empathy or curiosity, Meghan's expression reportedly changed. Her smile faded, her body stiffened. The moment passed quickly.
The hypocrisy is beyond beyond anything I've ever seen.
He's a duplicitous, self-centered, vile, disloyal hypocrite.
But viewers noticed. It was subtle, but unmistakable. And behind the scenes, things weren't any better. The crew, used to friendly banter and backstage jokes, were left tiptoeing around, unsure of what they could say or do. Everyone was walking on eggshells, one staffer admitted. Still, everyone hoped it would smooth over once the cameras stopped. That maybe Meghan was just nervous, or tired, or overwhelmed. But when the taping ended, that's when the real drama exploded. And this time, Drew didn't hold back. The cameras cut, the lights dimmed, but the tension? It didn't go anywhere. If anything, it escalated. What was supposed to be a quick wrap-up after filming turned into one of the most talked-about backstage confrontations daytime TV has seen in years. And it all started with Drew Barrymore, known for her kindness and bubbly warmth, pulling Meghan aside with a look no one had ever seen on her face before. According to multiple sources close to the show, Drew had reached her breaking point. All day, she had watched her usually joyful set turn cold and cautious. Her crew, people she's known for years, her trusted team, were left shaken and disrespected. And Drew? She wasn't going to let that slide. "You can't treat my staff like this." That's what she reportedly said, voice low, firm, and laced with emotion. For fans who know Drew as the ever-smiling girl next door, this was shocking. She's the one who cries happy tears on air, who hugs everyone from strangers to celebrities.
Brat, to be honest, and very, very entitled.
Harry and Meghan, they have an issue when it comes to their memory and when it comes to the truth.
Take me out back and shoot me, okay? Just end my agony now.
But in this moment, she stood her ground like a boss protecting her family. Insiders say the confrontation wasn't aggressive, but it was serious. Drew didn't yell. She didn't make a scene, but her words cut deep, and her disappointment was written all over her face. This wasn't just about a guest being difficult, it was about dignity, respect, and boundaries. And how did Meghan respond? Not with an apology, not with humility. Reports say she doubled down, insisting that her requests were standard, that her team was simply doing what's expected for someone of her public profile. No remorse, no thank you, just defense. The conversation ended cold. Meghan allegedly left the studio without a goodbye to Drew, without so much as a nod to the crew. One staffer said it felt like she vanished in silence, leaving behind a room full of stunned faces and unspoken frustration. Drew, meanwhile, didn't say another word. She didn't need to, because that one sentence, "You can't treat my staff like this," had already done what no interview ever could. It shattered the polished image and exposed the cracks underneath. And once word got out, the internet exploded. Fans, critics, and industry insiders were all asking the same thing. What really happened behind those closed doors? And has Meghan finally gone too far? The moment the rumors hit social media, it was like striking a match in a room full of gasoline. Comments, threads, reactions, they came pouring in. The interview may have aired quietly on TV, but online, it was pure chaos. The hashtag said it all. # Team Drew started trending first. Then came Tambor Meghan No. Thanks and Diva Energy, spreading like wildfire across Twitter, TikTok, and Instagram. Viewers weren't just disappointed, they were furious. Clips of the interview started circulating with side-by-side comparisons of Drew's usual guest interactions versus Meghan's cold, calculated appearance. People pointed out how Drew tried repeatedly to connect.
She is relentless, she is shameless, and she is exhausting. You are not a successful female entrepreneur.
When the stakes are this high, doesn't it make more sense to hear our story from us?
Asking about motherhood, family, even personal growth. But Meghan's responses felt stiff, rehearsed, like lines from a press release. One viral tweet summed it up brutally. Watching Meghan on Drew's show felt like watching a mannequin talk about emotions. Zero warmth, zero connection. But it wasn't just about the awkward interview anymore. The behind-the-scenes drama leaked, and that's when things really took off. Fan pages, talk show insiders, and anonymous crew accounts started piecing together the full story. Meghan's strict demands, the lighting adjustments, the title insistence, and of course, that final confrontation with Drew. Viewers were shocked, but not all that surprised. For many, this was just another chapter in a growing list of public incidents where Meghan's behavior was called out. But this time, it wasn't tabloids or palace insiders raising concerns, it was Drew Barrymore, someone widely respected, adored, and known for treating everyone on her set like family. That changed everything. Fans began praising Drew for standing her ground. Comments flooded in calling her the real queen, applauding her for defending her crew without turning it into a public feud. It wasn't just a viral moment, it was a culture shift. In a world where celebs are often shielded by publicists and image consultants, Drew's quiet confrontation felt real. And while Meghan's supporters tried to control the narrative, framing it as a misunderstanding or media exaggeration, public opinion had already turned. This wasn't about gossip anymore. It became a conversation about respect, entitlement, and how people treat others when they think no one's watching. But here's the kicker. This wasn't Meghan's first controversy. In fact, many viewers started connecting the dots. And once those dots led all the way back to Buckingham Palace...
Oh, shut up. What do you mean the stakes are this high? Who do you think you are? Other than a latte-munching imbecile living in luxury in California while the rest of the world's a cost of living crisis, moaning and whining about an institution which gave you the titles on which you now trade millions of dollars. What are you talking about? What stakes?
The pattern became impossible to ignore. As the Drew Barrymore drama unfolded, longtime royal watchers and Hollywood insiders weren't shocked. They were validated. Because if you followed Meghan Markle's journey from actress to duchess to media mogul, this wasn't some isolated incident. It was the latest chapter in a pattern that's been playing out behind the scenes for years. Let's rewind to her royal days. When Meghan and Prince Harry stepped down from royal duties in 2020, they painted their exit as an escape from toxicity. But behind the palace gates, a different story was unfolding. Former staffers had already started whispering about the couple's treatment of their team. In fact, the group of ex-employees who once worked for the Duke and Duchess dubbed themselves the Sussex Survivor Squad. That nickname didn't come from tabloids. It came from inside the palace walls. These weren't one-off complaints. According to journalist Valentine Lowe's book Courtiers, staff described Meghan as demanding, manipulative, and in some cases, emotionally exhausting. One advisor claimed Meghan would message staff late at night, only to become upset if they didn't respond immediately. Another aide reportedly broke down in tears after being reprimanded in front of others. The words narcissistic sociopath were even used by one anonymous source, harsh but telling. And it wasn't just the palace. In Hollywood, similar stories have surfaced. In 2022, Meghan was in talks to appear on the cover of Vogue. Not just any cover, but the global September issue, the most prestigious slot in the fashion world. But the deal allegedly fell apart because her team made demands that were, as one insider put it, impossible to accommodate. Then came charity events where organizers privately shared their frustrations. Last-minute changes.
You're in America now, and we don't give a shit about you. You're not our fucking prince. You'll never be king. We hate your wife. Stay at home in your $29 million mansion, all right?
Oh my God, I can't even. These two, Meghan and Harry, are the worst.
Heavy-handed PR interference and expectations that felt more like managing a political figure than a guest. People started to notice a trend. Wherever Meghan went, be it a royal residence, a film set, or a talk show studio, there seemed to be whispers of control, pressure, and behind-the-scenes stress. To be clear, this isn't about holding a high standard or being a perfectionist. Many celebrities are demanding. What sets Meghan's case apart is the contrast. The stark difference between the public image of compassion and kindness and the private stories of tension and control. And now, after the Drew Barrymore confrontation, the public is connecting the dots. What seemed like a shocking moment of diva behavior isn't so shocking anymore. It's just familiar. The real question isn't whether Meghan was having a bad day, it's whether this is the day-to-day. And the Drew incident finally ripped the curtain back. But Meghan wasn't done. Because while she may have left the Drew Barrymore studio in silence, she had another play in motion. After the icy Drew Barrymore fallout, Meghan Markle didn't disappear. In fact, she doubled down. Just weeks later, she launched a brand new Netflix series, her long-awaited passion project, With Love, Meghan. Marketed as a cozy lifestyle docuseries meant to showcase warmth, authenticity, and real moments. It was supposed to be Meghan's comeback, her redemption arc, a chance to reconnect with the public in a softer, more relatable light. But instead of winning hearts, it sparked backlash. From the opening episode, audiences picked up on something off. The visuals were beautiful. Stunning homes, soft lighting, Meghan arranging fruit baskets in designer loungewear. But the emotional tone? Hollow. Viewers called it staged, scripted, and so carefully controlled that it felt more like a perfume ad than a documentary. Critics didn't hold back. One popular entertainment blogger described it as a Hallmark movie written by a publicist. Others noted that every scene seemed manicured to perfection, right down to the color of Meghan's teacups. It wasn't just about aesthetics, it was about narrative. Instead of diving into real struggles or unfiltered moments, Meghan served up carefully packaged anecdotes and PR-friendly sound bites. Then came the most controversial part. Despite years of insisting on strict privacy for their children, Meghan's show featured clips and stories about Archie and Lilibet, sweet bedtime moments, cute phrases.
Now, when Meghan Markle and Prince Harry decided to leave the royal family, they agreed with Queen Elizabeth that they would not use their official title, His Royal Highness or Her Royal Highness, in any commercial capacity. And despite that, Meghan has now readopted Meghan Duchess of Sussex. But not only that, she's also started to use Her Royal Highness Duchess of Sussex.
Even short family videos. It was all designed to paint a picture of motherhood and balance, but the internet wasn't buying it. Commenters flooded Twitter and TikTok with one question. If privacy was the reason you left royal life, why are your kids suddenly part of a Netflix promo? Accusations flew. Some said Meghan was using her children as soft-focus props, inserting family moments to soften the media blow from recent controversies. Others pointed out the timing, dropping family content just as the Drew drama hit its peak. Whether strategic or coincidental, the public wasn't impressed. And the show's overall message, self-love, growth, reflection, felt out of sync with the headlines swirling around her. People don't mind a carefully crafted brand, but they do mind when the brand doesn't match the behavior. The backlash wasn't just about the show itself, it was about what it represented. For many viewers, with Love, Meghan came across as tone-deaf, too polished, and out of touch with how Meghan is perceived when the cameras aren't in her control. One viral comment said it best. She wants to be seen as raw and relatable, but everything feels rehearsed, even her vulnerability. The PR glow-up was meant to repair her image. Instead, it confirmed what critics had long suspected, that Meghan wasn't chasing authenticity, she was producing it. And as reactions poured in, the calls for realness grew louder. Because in today's media landscape, you can't just talk about connection. You have to show it, and Meghan's show left people more disconnected than ever. But if this failed PR reboot wasn't her rock bottom, what comes next? With the Drew Barrymore fallout and the With Love Meghan backlash still echoing, Meghan quietly made her next move, a massive behind-the-scenes reset. Reports surfaced that she had assembled a new PR dream team, 11 high-powered staffers based out of Montecito, reportedly tasked with steering the Sussex brand in a new direction. The goal? Rebuild her image, win back public trust, and pivot from controversy to credibility. But the irony wasn't lost on anyone. After years of criticizing the palace system and claiming she wanted freedom from handlers and institutional control, Meghan was now recreating a royal-style inner circle, only this time under her own roof. Critics called it a full-circle moment. Supporters called it a power move. But one thing was clear. Meghan's brand was no longer untouchable. The public wasn't just watching her interviews, they were watching her actions. And in a world that craves authenticity, no PR team can fake what audiences want most, a genuine human connection. So where does this leave Meghan? Caught between the image she wants and the reputation she's earned. Because no matter how polished the documentary, how perfect the lighting, or how carefully curated the story, people remember how you make others feel. And for those who watched the Drew Barrymore drama unfold, that memory isn't warm. It was Drew, without a press team, without a headline, just standing in a studio, who left the biggest impact. She didn't raise her voice. She didn't tweet. She simply said, "You can't treat my staff like this." And in doing so, she reminded everyone what real leadership looks like. No crown required.